what's a robot? Green cards yes, red cards no. Oh, quite a lot of no's. How very interesting. Excellent. All right, why no?
Because I don't want them to start controlling me.
Right, all right. Why did you say no?
I said no because the reason for being human is because we do certain things, and if we give all our jobs to robots, then what are we doing? We're just, like in the pictures, we're just lounging on.
Getting lazy. Excellent. That is a big issue, is how would having slave robots make us behave? I agree. Okay. Anyone who said yes? Why yes?
Make life easier.
Make life easier? Yep. Could a robot learn to play music? Yes. Green cards, yes? Okay, so we all think a robot could learn to play, nearly all. One person thinks no. Most people think yes, a robot could learn to play music.
No, because like the piano is such an intricate thing, like you have to be taught. I mean, like if you teach the robot how to play piano, for example, it could probably play like simple things like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, such as that, but I don't think it'll ever be able to play like, say like Beethoven or Mozart level, like that kind of piano, nothing like that.
Would it like the music? Could it ever really like the music? Ooh, might not know. Excellent. More difficult to answer that question, isn't it? More difficult to answer that question scientifically, maybe?
I don't think it will ever be, because like to appreciate something, you have to feel that like feeling of appreciation, and because like a robot doesn't have a soul, like it only feels what you tell it to feel. If you get what I'm saying. So if you tell it to feel happy, it would feel happy. So it's like all of that would have to be programmed. Like I don't think it would be able to appreciate something by itself.
No, I don't think ever that robots will have souls. Again, they're programmed by humans. They don't have emotions or feelings, and I don't think they can ever have that. It's something that's unique to humans and possibly animals, but we don't know that yet. How you feel and how you behave and act and how you come across is a completely different thing. I don't think we can program a robot to have such logical, the way we think is so logical, but our feelings are they're so more in depth, and there's so many ways you can think about something but act or behave and feel about it at the same time, and I don't think robots have the capability to do that or ever have that.
Agnes is a robot that knits. Well, knits and looks human. And that is all that Agnes does. The robots we interact with today are specialists, designed to do one or two things. But it's not too hard to see why a robot that looks human might look as though it's capable of much more. None of us know what's going on in someone else's mind. Actually, we don't even know if anyone else has a mind or what we think of as a mind. But we assume that because we experience thinking, imagining, caring, hoping and all the other sorts of things that minds do, we assume that that's what other people are doing too. And there is the challenge. How do we ensure that we are not taken in by our own deception?
Okay.
So welcome everybody. So I'm Martin Coath. We've all seen a device now, you've had the chance to use a device, some of you, which is sensitive to sound, which reacts to sound in the way that you said. If something can hear, it's going to react to the sound. So here's a device which reacts to the sound. How many of you think that this is a device which can actually hear? Put up your hands if you think this is a device which can actually hear. And how many people think that this is not a device which can hear? And how many of you are unsure? So when we do when we hear things, we bring all of our human experience to the process of hearing. We use our intelligence. In fact, when somebody answered a question, they were talking about adapting to various surroundings. We decide which parts of our environment are the most important to us. We actively participate in the process of gathering information around us. We don't just sit there and wait to be told to generate an answer. And when we do generate an answer, the answer makes sense to us as well as to the person that we're giving it to. And the question is, can any machine, whether it's this or whether it's Siri, do anything other than simply respond to a sound, even if it's responding in a very, very sophisticated way, and it generates a reaction in the form of an answer that makes sense to you? Can it ever hear in the way that we mean hear? And would anybody like to give us an answer to that? Do you think any sort of machine, however far into the future that you can imagine, do you think it would be able to hear in the same way that we can hear?
I don't think the robot can actually hear, but I think it can pick up on the sound. So maybe, for example, the vibrations from the sound, and then the robot can respond to that. But I don't think it can hear just like a human can hear.
I think that Siri can hear because on your phone, you have a microphone that can be connected to it, so it not as hearing as a human would, so not nerve impulses, but in a way where the vibrations that are passed on can be interpreted as sound.
If binary, which is in all computers, can only perform one task at a time, it just happens extremely fast, then how will a robot brain, which is essentially programmed by humans and coded by humans, be able to hear something and then respond to it with an answer, which it's sort of, because it's been programmed to think that way, it's not independent.
I like bridging questions. I like questions that puzzle us about both the sciences and the humanities at the same time. And I'm going to persuade you that these questions, for example, are good examples of that. So science might help us to answer these questions, but it can't always fully answer them. And that will be a bit of a theme today. We'll be thinking about how far science can take us and whether we actually need other ways of thinking to get us the rest of the way. Is this love? It was in the newspapers not very long ago that this is love. You want to see this is love? Brain scan can detect whether or not you're in love. One of life's toughest questions to answer is, what is love? There it is. Brain scanned a lot of people, and that's love. If you agree that's love, put up your green card. If you think that's not love, put up your red card. If you're not sure, wave your card. Is that love? Would you like a brain scan to tell you whether you're in love? Green card, yes. Red card, no. Would you like a brain scan to tell you whether you're in love? More no's than yeses. Would you like a brain scan to tell you whether the person you hoped was in love with you was in love with you? Oh, quite a few reds again. Interesting. Could a brain scan tell you whether the person you were in love with or wanted to love you was in love with you? Would it work? Could you use that as a test? Think, pair, share, and then have a vote. Could you use a brain scan to find out whether somebody else is in love? What do you think?
I think you can, but the way it affects a person's thinking, that's different from finding out whether the person is in love or not.
Interesting, very interesting. So just to summarise where we've got to. I've mentioned that today we're quite interested in how many of our questions we can answer scientifically, how far science can get us with answering some of these big questions, and what we might then need other ways of thinking to get us the rest of the way. And I've put this slide up as a kind of a good rough guide as to the sorts of questions that science can particularly help us with.